Peace and blessings, all tribe. Welcome back to the channel, new and returning overseas in America. Welcome to everyone, and thank you all so much for being here and for your continued love and support. Y'all, please excuse my voice. I know I probably sound groggy. I am super tired. I am exhausted. But it is a good exhausted, okay? Um, it's a good exhausted. I'm going to talk about that too because I'm picking up on like just a lot of exhaustion within the collective. Okay, I am going to talk about that in a different video because I want to talk about what is happening. Okay, but in tonight's video, I want to just chit chat with you guys a little bit. There are a lot of misconceptions in within spirituality or within the Hoodoo community, and I want to try to clear up some of those. Okay, um, while also debunking some things. All right. So you guys come on in, hit the like button as you come in, vibe with me for a little bit. I'm gonna try not to be long-winded tonight because I'm exhausted, but I need to get this out. I'm thinking I'm going to probably start a series where I am talking about defeating witchcraft and overcoming witchcraft. As you all know, that is a part of my calling. That's a part of my path. I've had to deal with people attacking me and doing black magic for years. Okay, from childhood, um, and just kind of coming against me, and I've had to overcome it and defeat it, in my own life. But the reason for that was so that I could be here doing what I am doing today. I remember years ago, God spoke to me and He said that the things that I was going through, and at the time I was going through a lot. I was having a lot of health issues. I had just been in this near fatal collision with a fire truck. And excuse me, y'all. There was just a lot going on. But I'll never forget when He spoke to me and said that the things that I was going through were not for me. Like, yes, you have to bear it, but it's not for you. Now, at that time, I never thought in a million years that I would be doing what it is I'm doing today, right? I've always been spiritual. My gifts have always been activated. I grew up in a spiritual household. I grew up with women of God and women who were truly anointed and who had that power and that ashe. I grew up with women who were hoodoo practitioners, root workers, women who could counteract, um, evil. And so I wasn't new to it, but I never saw this for myself, right? I've always known that I've had a prophetic anointing. I've always known that I just know things, I see things, I dream things, I hear from God, but I never thought this. Yet I would not trade any of it for anything. I would not trade any of it. Um, you all don't know how much it means to me to be able to be here helping other people who are dealing with this. Okay, and I thank God each and every day for this community, for each and every person in this community, and for using me um, to affect change. amongst people. So, being that I've had to, go through and overcome and defeat, here I am. And so, I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to teach about it. I'm here to debunk certain things because I feel like, New Age spirituality really has people like confused about some things. Okay, you have to understand that New Age spirituality, um, it was marketable. It was marketable. It was marketable spirituality. But as I've stated in prior videos, this New Age stuff does not begin to scratch the surface of true spirituality, traditional, um, like practices. So, and for anyone who does not know, I am a root worker. I practice traditional hoodoo. Okay. Um, so when you hear me speak, you will hear me say, like, there's nothing new under the sun, because it's not. There is nothing new about spirituality. There's nothing new about the things that take place. It just became, someone took it, made it marketable, packaged it in a couple of books, and began to sell it and make money off of it. And here we are. But I want to really dive into this again because people perish for lack of knowledge, and a lot of people are perishing um, because they do not know. Okay, um, and so that's why I'm really wanting to um, start this series where we kind of do a deep dive weekly. We talk about it. We talk about defeating it. I even wrote a book about it. Okay, like I am very passionate um, about deliverance and about helping people break free from the things that keeps them bound. Okay, and yes, there are people out here doing fuck shit. We all know this. Okay, um, how do you navigate it? How do you, not be affected by it? Believe it or not, there are still some people in 2024 that do not believe in witchcraft. There are still people in the church, outside of the church, that do not believe that this is real, even though their Bible speaks of it. Okay, the Bible speaks of these things. Um, but I feel like you have to be in a space to where you really understand spirituality and where you really understand the science behind it, as well as spiritual law, as well as the mysticism to it. Okay. So I want to, talk a little bit, like I said, debunk some things, because what I am finding today is that many people don't realize that um, everyone thinks that it takes a candle or a jar or dirt or herbs to cast a spell, do a ritual, or to, you know, do work against someone. And that's not the case. That is not the case. It takes no tools, right? Um, for those who are like your real deal spiritualists, spiritual people, healers. You understand what I'm saying? Like the women that raised me, the women that raised me, the women in my bloodline, and so many other bloodlines, right? Like you don't need anything outside of yourself because the anointing is within. Okay, like that's just, I don't even know how else to say that. Okay, understand that a person doesn't have to, a person can look at you and hex you or curse you. A person can say to you, God bless you, and that can be laced in so many other things that it would totally wreck your life. You understand what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with a candle, herbs, dirt, a jar, or anything out of the kitchen. Yes, in root work and in hoodoo, we utilize herbs and roots and things out of the kitchen. But understand that in the times of our ancestors, they did not have access to all of these things. They did not have access to all of these fancy candles, okay? All of these colorful candles, these dual-ended candles, like the candles with the two colors. They did not have access to all of these fancy things. They had to work with what they had, and sometimes they had nothing. So a true root worker will be able to go into those woods, pull what they need, and make something shake. You understand what I'm saying? True power is within. And so understand that someone who truly walks with that anointing can shake the table without lifting a finger. It is not always about a candle or a tool. Tools are cool. They are bonuses. They are there if you need them. But for a true, you get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Like back in the day, those mothers, those church mothers, baby, they no, like all they had to do was go in their prayer closets to get some things done. And that's real. Okay. It is anointing. It is not about the tools. It's not about, like, yes, intention is everything, but the anointing has to be there. And it's very important to understand what you are anointed to do, because everyone's anointing is not the same. I may be anointed to do one thing, you may be anointed to do something else. Our gifts may look alike, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like one person may be anointed to lay hands and remove energy in that way, right? To do healing work in that way through their hands. Another person may be anointed in such a way that literally they can speak something out of their mouth, and that's what it is. Another person may be anointed in all of the things. You understand? So it is very different. But please know, everything don't take a candle. Everything don't take a jar. And some of us don't need any tools to do anything. You understand? Some rituals are really just, because I had somebody ask me, why do I call my the Lion's Gate service a prayer service? Because that's what it is. That's what it is, okay? It is a prayer service. Um, the other thing I want to point out, okay, because I know a lot of times people get this mixed up, but hoodoo and witchcraft are two different things. Root work and witchcraft are not the same things. Now, can the two accomplish the same things? Absolutely. But they are not the same. You have to understand that it is the function of a witch doctor to counteract the actions of the witch. There has to be anointing there to do that, right? But the two are not the same. So don't let anybody tell you that. Don't ever let anyone tell you that if you are practicing hoodoo or root work, that you are practicing witchcraft. because that is not the case. And understand too, I want to say this is a disclaimer. Whenever I say witchcraft over on this channel, I am like I'm most times talking about like black magic, baneful magic, um things that people do to manipulate other people's free will or to mess with someone's health, their money, casting um you know spells to unalive people and things like that. When I'm talking about witchcraft, I'm talking about baneful magic, black magic. Okay. I want you to also understand that a person can send energy to you by way of someone else, unbeknownst to the person who it is being sent through. Okay. And that's real. Because you got to understand that traditional hoodoo, traditional root work, and traditional things are not like what we've been seeing online over the last few years. This barely scratches the surface, right? When you come online and you want to know how to stop somebody from messing with you, most of the time some of the first things that's going to come up is a freezer spell, a lot like a freezer or alarm spell, or to hot foot them. And it's like, yeah, it barely scratches the surface, right? What you know about going in the woods, what you know about digging up that dirt, what you know about burying what you need to bury and where you need to bury it, what you know about them rusty nails. Do you know what to do with it? You get what I'm saying? Do you know what to do with a cow's tongue? Okay. Do you know what to do with an alligator head? Like, you get what I'm saying? So it barely scratches the surface. And I also want to say that Googling a ritual or a spell is not the thing to do. If you have to look up how to do a spell, you ain't got no business doing that spell. You have no business doing that work if you have to look it up. That's dangerous. Don't do that. Okay? Seriously. And I'm going to say something else. Everybody that's out here practicing spirituality and doing spiritual things and conjure and whatnot, some people are doing it and they should not be doing it. Like, if you did not grow up seeing things, if you did not grow up with certain experiences or with certain things in your bloodline, like if you just one day in your adult life decided this is something you want to do because you're interested in it, I would definitely reevaluate that and maybe get a reading, an ancestral reading or something that will let you know if this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because we have a lot of people out here conjuring up things that are not supposed to be conjured up, conjuring up things that they cannot put back in that bottle, right? Conjuring up things that you waking it up, but you don't know how to put it back to sleep. Because in everything, there is rank and authority. Do you have the authority to conjure up what you're conjuring up? When you conjure that spirit, do you know how to reel that spirit in when it is time to do so? This is not a game. Spirituality is not a game. It's not. It is not to be played with. It can be very dangerous if you're out here playing with it. We saw it a few years back where the little girl was trying to conjure up one deity, you know what I'm saying, to something about a dude, and she was trying to use voodoo against a young lady of African descent or of Haitian descent. I don't know the details of the story, but I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. And that girl ended up dead. Why? Because she was playing. Don't play with this. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And sometimes it will absolutely, a lot of times, it will absolutely backfire, especially if you ain't careful about what you're doing or if you're trying to fuck with the wrong person. It will absolutely backfire. And a lot of times in the worst way. So, again, be careful who you are laying with, be careful who you are interacting with, because, like I said, people can absolutely send energy by way of someone else. Sometimes, I remember growing up hearing about women who, like, if a woman wanted a man and the man had a wife, you know, obviously the dude would already have to be messing with the woman. Okay, let me not say it like this. Let me just say it like I'm telling the story, okay? So I can remember there was a older couple in the neighborhood, married couple, and the guy, he was a known serial cheater. And his girlfriend wanted him to leave his wife to be with her. And obviously, he was not going to leave his wife. They had been married over 20 years. And back then, they used to always say it's cheaper to keep her. He wasn't leaving his wife, and he made that known. And so, what the mistress did was she sent something through him to the wife. It was supposed to make her sick and unalive her. How did she send it through him? She got it in him, and then when he laid with his wife, when he had, exchanged sacred energy with his wife, it would then be in her. Why? Because he would have to penetrate his wife. He was directly inside of her, and that energy would release inside of her. She sent it through him. He did not know, but he transferred that. Yeah. We've all heard about sexually transmitted diseases. Well, guess what? There are spiritually transmitted demons. I'm sorry, sexually transmitted demons. Sexually transmitted demons is the other um, meaning for STDs. And that lady became sick. She fell very sick very quickly. And because of where they were from, because she knew that her husband had been dealing with this other woman, at some point they knew, oh, okay, this isn't natural. Because, see, the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her. They couldn't find anything wrong with her. It's like she was having stomach issues. She would have very bad stomach pain. She would vomit. She was losing weight drastically and quickly. And they got her to, like, up the road, took her to the old lady, okay, who was able to, the old lady was a witch doctor. All right, who was able to diagnose the issue and treat her and save her life. And what was in her was a snake, okay? That's that was always the thing, okay? That was making her deathly ill, and it was supposed to unalive her, but, thankfully, they were able to do what they needed to do with the quickness in order to save her. That's just one story. There are so many stories like that one, okay, of how people do things. A person can be on the phone with you and send it through the airwaves. I'm so serious. Again, this is why it's important to be mindful, be careful of who you are interacting with and how you are interacting with them. If you know that a person don't see it for you. If you know that a person has evil tendencies, evil ways, and they hate you, stay away from that person. Don't tell that person your business, because I promise you, they are probably secretly doing things, manipulating energy, throwing things off. It don't take lighting a candle. It don't. It don't. Okay? So I'm going to put a pin in this because this is already 25 minutes. I didn't intend for it to be this long. My mic went out. I'm going to put a pin in it. I want to stop it here, but I will be back with more. Again, I have a passion for defeating this. And although I know, like the Bible tells us that we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And there are some of us who were chosen specifically as warriors to battle, not only here on this side, but also on the other side. Okay. And I feel like when people are equipped, see, before I knew what was going on, it left me, when I didn't know what was going on, when I was oblivious to what was going on, it left me vulnerable and open to attack. Okay. But when I woke up, when I began to acquire knowledge, when I began to tap into what I've always seen my grandmothers tap into, when I began to remember the things that my grandmother would sit and talk to me about and the things that she would tell me, when I began to really do the work and heal, I was then equipped and empowered with certain wisdom and knowledge to where I could combat this, not only in my life, but in the lives of others. And that is what these videos are about. Okay. I'm going to put a pin in this. Like I said, y'all, I'll be back with another one. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Peace.